they're going to have to get the same performance out of that unit, give themselves a chance.
Randy Johnson, the Hall of Fame pitcher, 10 years a Seattle Mariner, part of the tradition. Raising of the 12 flag. They've done it every year since 2003 here in Seattle to fire up the crowd and the hometown Seahawks.
Yep.
Seahawks won the toss and deferred. Stephen Hauschka ready to kick off. There is Pete Carroll. Last 5 years, the Seahawks and 49ers have decided who's the champ of the NFC West. Bruce Ellington back to receive in week 11 as the ball falls off the tee. Just to slow the drama here just a bit. You can see the sun, no rain in the forecast in Seattle. Temperature in the 40s, but with that shade, a little chilly down on the field. A rematch from a month ago, the Seahawks winning 20-3 up in Santa Clara against this 49er team, but that's when Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback. Seahawks at 4-5, the 49ers at 3-6. All looking up at the Arizona Cardinals at the top of the NFC West, who play Cincinnati tonight. The crowd reloads, and here we go. Bounces through the end zone. Ellington without a chance. Coming out to the 20, the 49ers on offense. And the former #1 pick, first-round draft choice of the Jacksonville Jags, Blaine Gabbert, making his second start as a member of the 49ers, had a bye week to catch up and was impressive in a win against Atlanta 2 weeks ago.
Really impressive against Atlanta. He made some smart decisions with the football, when to run, when to throw. This is a different situation, though, on the road in the loudest stadium in the country.
Sean Drone, who was picked up just a couple of weeks ago with the injuries at running back. In fact, they've used 8 different running backs this season. That's the most of any team in the NFL. Carlos Hyde missing his 3rd straight game with a foot injury as the leading rusher, but Anquan Boldin is back, the team's leading receiver, and the offensive line that had trouble holding up in the earlier meeting against Seattle on the spot again today. Again, it's Drone, and he can't get outside, has trouble hanging out of the football. It'll be 3rd and long for the 49ers. KJ Wright making that tackle and leads this team in tackles. We got to look up front. Michael Bennett, who moves around quite a bit with 6.5 sacks to lead the team. In the secondary, the corners, neither of them have an interception this year.
And we're going to see Richard Sherman again following around Torrey Smith all day. No catches last meeting for Torrey Smith. They cannot be scared to throw at Richard Sherman. Torrey Smith is an explosive player.
Here comes a flag.
Neutral zone infraction, defense, number 56. 5-yard penalty is still 3rd down.
And that's on Cliff Averill. Usually it's the offense, the opposing offense in Seattle that is called for the infraction, as Ed Hockley is our referee today. Pete Carroll frustrated with 14 penalties from his team last week. So now it's just 3rd and 3. And Gabbert is thrown to the ground. Cliff Averill.
Well, that's what Cliff Averill was trying to get off on that snap prior. It's been on fire of late. Cliff Averill has been, and Blaine Gabbert simply could not hold on to this football this long. He has to be able to make quicker decisions, or he's going to be dealing with this all day long. And you just see the speed rush by Cliff Averill on Piers over there. It's easy as it's ever been for him the past couple of games getting to the quarterback.
Bradley Pinion standing at the 5, the 5th-round draft pick from Clemson, drives this toward the speedy Tyler Lockett. And the 49ers string it out. He stopped at the 39 of Seattle, but good field position for Russell Wilson to lead this offense. And shocking in his run here, he rarely loses at home, and as we mentioned moments ago, to have defeats back-to-back, although some pretty good teams in Carolina, Arizona. He's anxious when you talk to him Friday, Rondé, to get this offense going.
Well, he talks about it being simple. They try to simplify everything that's going on in this offense. He told us it's simply about scoring. They have to score points. When they get in the red zone, they have to target Jimmy Graham. See how they do that today.
Thomas Rawls playing for the injured Marshawn Lynch, the free agent rookie from Central Michigan, on the carry. And it looks like we have a 49er player who is injured. We'll check on that as we check the offensive lineup. 41 catches for Jimmy Graham, leads the team. Patrick Lewis, starting center, moving for the third different time. Still trying to adjust things on that offensive line as Glenn Dorsey is the injured 49er.
Chris, he went down without, he was getting blocked, but he went down on his own accord. Nobody ran into his legs. It just looked like his knee buckled on him. He's going to be over here, number 90. Play goes away from him, and just his knee just kind of gives when he steps into the ground there. And without him, you know, you're looking at Tony Girardetti and Eric Armstead, who is the big rookie, who was going to get more playing time anyway, is going to have to get more snaps on this San Francisco defense.
And 91, Eric Armstead, the first-round draft pick from Oregon. At 6'7", he's from Elk Grove, California, looking like he's going to step in here depending upon the situation. But we will step aside and check further on the injury here in Seattle.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide.
Glenn Dorsey being helped up from the field. The cart has been brought out. And NaVorro Bowman, you can't help but think about 22 months ago, the last time he was here in this stadium, that devastating knee injury, torn left ACL, MCL surgery, long road back. And moments ago, observing what happened to Glenn Dorsey, as fans applaud the effort as Dorsey's helped off the field.
And NaVorro Bowman has made in my mind, a miraculous recovery from that deal. Of course, he missed all of last year, and he was slowed by that injury early in this season. But of late, watching him on film, he is back to the same guy that he was pre-injury. They're going to need a big day from NaVorro Bowman in this running game for Seattle.
He leads the NFL in tackles and told us he's 90% back health-wise. And Dorsey out. We'll check on that injury for further update. On 2nd and 7. Wilson to throw and completes to Baldwin. And Doug Baldwin near a Seattle first down near midfield. Good enough for a first down, spotted just on the Seattle side of midfield. This secondary, Rondé, a little bit healthier than the last game the 49ers played, with Kenneth Acker and Tremaine Brock back on the corners. And Wilson flips it to Thomas Rawls, who fights hard to get a first down to the 30.
You wonder about Marshawn Lynch not being here, and Thomas Rawls is a much smaller back, but he has so many of the same characteristics of Marshawn Lynch. And talking to some guys on the field before this game, they said he loves to do this: attack defenders, put his head down, his shoulder down, runs right through Tremaine Brock, and picks up some extra yardage.
Rawls a couple inches smaller than Lynch, but about the same weight, and loves contact. And carries here with a big hole. And Rawls may have another first down. Seahawks came in having 3 different players with over 300 yards rushing. And against this 49er defense that has now Eric Armstead in the place of the injured Glenn Dorsey, Michael Wilhite second on the team in tackles. And in the secondary, the rookie Jaquiski Tartt, someone you're fond of. You've seen him play and very impressed with him.
For a rookie, the guy plays hard, he plays fast, he's a great tackler. We'll see him make a lot of hits today.
After a 9-yard pickup, Thomas rolls, tries to get outside, gets enough for the first down.
Now Marshawn Lynch runs this exact same play. He doesn't have the same type of quickness that Thomas Rawls does. That's what you got to like about a guy that's taking the place of this guy. He's got an abdomen issue. We're not really sure what it is, but he came out in warm-ups, tried to go, and I didn't see him get up to full speed until they made him inactive, and it puts a lot of pressure on the undrafted rookie today.
He checks out. Fred Jackson checks in and goes out as a receiver at the top of your screen. Empty backfield for Russell Wilson, who floats one. Catch made. Touchdown Seahawks. It's Tyler Lockett.
You know, Jimmy Ward is a safety masquerading as a corner in this San Francisco 49ers defense. And to me, Chris, this is a mismatch all day long. Number 16, Tyler Lockett, the dynamic rookie, against your converted safety in a corner in the slot here. He just misses. He whiffs. He's so much faster. He can't pick up the yards lost, and it's an easy throw and catch for a touchdown for Seattle.
For Tyler Lockett, 24-yard touchdown catch, his second of the season. Stephen Hauschka on to try the extra point. It is 7-0 Seattle. Seahawks defense stops the 49ers. Russell Wilson takes him in.
Today's game is sponsored by Bud Light. Make the right call. Drink responsibly.
Here in Seattle, Lockett with the touchdown catch, a drive of 61 yards, just under 3 minutes. Russell Wilson 3 out of 3 to get the Seahawks the fast start.
A lot of credit to Thomas Rawls on that drive. Knew we played well earlier in the season. He's off to a good start here today in his third start of this year.
Bruce Ellington is bringing it out 5 yards deep from the end zone and will be stopped short of the 20-yard line. A special teams win for the Seahawks. He's smiling with a 7-0 advantage.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Nissan. Innovation that excites. By Microsoft Surface, the official tablet of the NFL. And by State Farm. It pays to double check. Talk to your agent today.
One of those special, picturesque days here in Seattle. With Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, the fans anxious to see the Seahawks get back to their familiar ways of winning at home. Here comes a flag.
Ball start, offense, number 66. Head down. 5-yard penalty, it's first down.
So right on cue since 2005. Most false starts for opponents in any stadium, 146 now. First and 15. Sean Drone weaves his way through the hole and gets up across the 20-yard line. Drone, who was signed a couple of weeks ago, 8 different teams on 6 different rosters, and was good for 96 all-purpose yards in his first game as a 49er 2 weeks ago.
He ran really tough for a guy that was sitting at home on his couch last week. Going to need another big performance today.
After picking up 7, Gabbard On the run, flips the pass. It'll go nowhere. Thrown down at the 20. Garrett Selleck. Let's check in with Jennifer Hale down on the field.
Chris, right now the 49ers are listing Glenn Dorsey as questionable as he's back in the locker room undergoing tests on that knee, likely x-rays. He was in a considerable amount of pain as he was carted into the locker room. Unfortunately, a bad twist of fate for the former LSU Tiger, Chris.
Thank you very much. Now 3rd down and 6. Gabbert for Torrey Smith, and it's 4th down. Gabbert did talk about the noise, Rondé. He said that you can play all the music you want, but you cannot replicate what happens in this building.
You absolutely cannot. Blaine Gabbert has been in this stadium, of course, as a 49er last year, but standing on the sideline, listening to this noise, and actually being in the game, two totally different things. See how he fares with this rambunctious crowd here.
Bradley Pinion to Tyler Lockett. Lockett has a touchdown catch in this game, and he has a punt return and a kickoff return already this season. The rookie for Seattle watching this and moving up, waving for the fair catch just across the Seattle 40. And again, the field position game favoring the Seahawks in this opening quarter. The undrafted rookie from Central Michigan who played at Michigan. This is 3rd start in relief of Marshawn Lynch, who has an abdominal injury. Lynch had some hamstring injuries earlier in the year. Already 3 carries, 17 yards to help that first touchdown drive. Russell Wilson in the pocket and now on the move. It's out of bounds at the 49 of Seattle.
You know, when I watch Russell Wilson as a quarterback, his mechanics are, he steps up into the pocket to run the football. When he retreats out of the pocket backwards, that's when he's looking to create downfield. He told me he's always trying to negate negative plays, take as many as possible. So I think that's why when he goes forward, he's just trying to salvage something.
Over 360 yards rushing. Does not have a rushing touchdown this year. That's Rawls. It'll be 3rd and a yard.
This offense, to me, when I watch these guys throw the football, there's so many scramble plays. 25% of his passes are out of the pocket. That's because he's not really efficient getting it out on time. He doesn't hit his back foot and let the ball go, but he's able to create. He's so athletic, and obviously you add in those rushing yards when he does decide to tuck it and run, and that's why this offense, it's how they move the ball. It's how they've moved it since he's been here.
They need a yard for the first down. Knocked backward is Rawls, and looks like he's going to get it. That extra surge after bouncing off a tackler got the first down. And it was Eric Armstead who had the first shot at him.
Well, this absolutely should have been a tackle for loss. Armstead's right in the middle of your screen and just squares him up, getting some help from Jaquiski Tartt. But Thomas Rawls keeps those legs moving. We know he likes contact. We've seen it 2 or 3 times already today. He's able to get that first down.
It's Rawls again. He gets inside the 45. You know, he's an emotional kind of guy. Played a lot in the preseason, and Rondé, when people have talked to him just about playing in the NFL, Thomas Rawls, his eyes tear up. I mean, he just appreciates the moment and the opportunity, and didn't realize he'd get this much of an opportunity behind Marshawn Lynch.
Well, can you blame him? He comes to this great organization, great team. He's mentoring behind one of the great running backs in the league right now. I'd be excited about playing here too.
Russell Wilson wide open and can't hang on. Pass was a little high for Jermaine Kearse.
That's got to be a catch. So much time from the quarterback. Jermaine Kearse had forever to watch this ball come into his hands. Yes, a little high. You get both mitts on it. That's got to be a completion.
First incompletion of this game for Russell Wilson. Paul Richardson is inactive today with a hamstring. Kevin Smith from the University of Washington for the Huskies is active for Seattle today. We'll see him at some point. On target, catch made, knocked to the ground is Jimmy Graham. And Tart right there with him.
Got Ken Acker out here on Jimmy Graham, and you just can't give himself that much room. He's got to be confrontational at the line of scrimmage. Jimmy Graham is a big target. Yes, he can run. His catch radius is ridiculous, but to give him that easy of a completion is just stealing for the Seahawks offense right now.
A lot of talk about him not having a big year, but the numbers prove otherwise in this Seattle offense. Good enough for a first down. Rawls back in and running back. And Wilson, they're trying to keep him in the pocket, but there he goes. Let's get a game break and check in with Kurt Menefee. Hi, Kurt.
Hello there, Chris. Even though it's not Thanksgiving just yet, the Christmas season is here because Rudolph has led the way into the end zone for the Vikings. First score of the game against the Green Bay Packers. First touchdown. And right now it's 6-3. Minnesota on top, pending the extra point. Chris, Rondé, and Jen.
All right, thank you, Kurt. And the Vikings impressive with that defense and young Teddy Bridgewater in his second year. After a gain of 8, this is Thomas Rawls, who's got another Seattle first down. He's inside the 20 of the 49ers.
We haven't done a game yet with Seattle. The things that I'm seeing from this kid right here, the quickness to change the direction. He always plays with so much energy, and that's why he likes to finish runs, because he's generating so much power with those legs. He's having a great start to this day.
General Manager John Schneider, the Seattle scouting staff that signed him as a free agent. He was undrafted. And he has stepped in nicely. Russell Wilson has it. Haven't seen a lot of that lately from this Seattle team.
And you need to see more of it. Obviously, you want to protect Russell Wilson. There's opportunities for it's going to go in here. And obviously, we all know how this play works. It depends on Aaron Lynch there. He's got a decision. He's in a conundrum whether he crashes down on the running back or keeps his eyes on the quarterback, and he does a poor job of diagnosing that play. And you get 6-7 yards from Russell Wilson.
Wilson has it. Completes. Inside the 5 is Doug Baldwin around the 2. Eric Reed with the hit.
Good job by this Seattle offense today, being very balanced. Run, pass. It feels like every other play is back and forth. And Doug Baldwin's feisty dude, plays with that chip on his shoulder. But he took one right in the chest here, Chris. Eric Reed got up under him, put him on the ground.
It's a first and goal for the Seahawks from the 2. Second possession, second chance to get into the end zone. Rolls through the crowd and touchdown Seahawks.
It's too easy right now for Seattle. They are on all cylinders. 120 yards of offense still in the first quarter, 2 touchdowns. They had red zone scoring issues. They were bottom of the league scoring once they got inside the 20. But today, Russell Wilson's been efficient. Thomas Rawls is giving them a spark in the running game. And San Francisco is clearly on their heels right now.
Wonder if Rawls is getting emotional about this. Second career touchdown, leading the Seahawks, who need to go on a win streak. We'll talk more about how they've been able to do that during their run to back-to-back Super Bowls and NFC West titles. Trouble with the snap, and the kick is off the mark. Hauschka with a missed extra point, and it's 13-0. He was perfect this year on extra points, but the snap a little bit awkward. Rawls gives Seattle the 13-0 advantage. Thanksgiving weekend, some of the best rivalries in college football. The game of the week on Saturday is Notre Dame takes on Stanford. It's a must-win game for both teams trying to get into the playoff. And you see Washington State and Washington, the Apple Cup, and the Civil War, they call it, with Oregon State and the Ducks in Eugene. And 14-0 as Bruce Ellington hopes to give the 49ers a jolt. Bounced it in the end zone and brought it out. And gets up across the 20. Here comes a flag, and that's going to back up wherever he winds up this San Francisco offense, which is in a hole to start. That surge all the way up across the 30 when Ellington was first met at the 20.
During the return, illegal block in the back by the receiving team, number 25. Half the distance to the goal. San Francisco keeps the ball. First down.
Jimmy Ward called for the infraction. So, Rondé, this offensive game plan after a couple 3-and-outs and down by this score has to be adjusted for San Francisco.
Well, I think San Fran wanted to make this an ugly game, keep it close, try to win it on the end type of deal, but you know, they're going to have to be a lot more like Arizona was last week. Carson Palmer played a great game, but he made some outstanding passes. Blaine Gabbert's going to have to get some of that going. They're going to have no chance here.
Encroachment, defensive nose yard. 5-yard penalty. It's first down, number 97.
You know, and a lot of times you get in games like this and you want to stick to task, but San Francisco's not even through their first 15 plays yet. So, yes, I think you got to tear up the game plan, try to get yourself back in the game, chase a little bit, because if you get farther down here, you have absolutely no chance.
Blaine Gabbert underneath to Drone, and 3 Seahawks bring him down. Bobby Wagner leading the tackling charge. Let's go back down to the field and Jennifer.
Well, Chris, the 49ers' plan is to play receiver Anquan Boldin as early and often as possible before that hamstring has time to tighten up. You won't see him every snap, but you will see him a lot. He's donning sweatpants in between plays to keep those muscles warm, and heating pads are on the bench ready to go.
On 2nd and 4, Jerome fights hard to get near a first down. Again, that yellow line's not official. We should just make it official because it would be easier for everybody, and it is a first down. So, Ronnie, that is now the 14th possession. They had 9 3-and-outs. San Francisco's offense against Seattle, 9 of the previous 13, and finally get the first down here.
There's Anquan Boldin returning from that hamstring injury. He'll need to be a factor in this game. Take some heat off this quarterback.
Gabbert with time to throw, and he's going deep for Ellington, who had it and couldn't hold it. Earl Thomas jarred it out of his hands.
Earl Thomas was completely turned around on this play, but he does a really good job recovering on this play down the field. Kerry Williams gets out. You see Earl Thomas going away from the play, but such a good athlete, has such great football instincts to come in and make that play, cause an incompletion. That, to me, looked like it was going to be a huge play for San Francisco.
There's Anquan Boldin with a first down, falling to the 30. At age 35, toughing it out. He's battling that hamstring and was not there in the first start that Gabbert had 2 weeks ago.
No, but he did play against these guys last time, and Anquan Boldin is one of the craftiest receivers I ever had the chance to play against. He's physical, probably about the angriest player I ever played against, too. See if that attitude can rub off on this San Francisco offense.
Gabbert, sideline and overthrows Garrett Selleck. It'll be 2nd and 10.
This is a matchup they like. Garrett Selleck is coming into his own as a receiver in this offense. Obviously, Vernon Davis leaves, goes to Denver, so there's a void there, and Selleck is the guy I think they want to get matchups on with the safeties and the linebackers today.
He had 2 touchdown catches from Gabbert in that victory against Atlanta prior to the bye week on 2nd and 10. Quentin Patton knocked down right away. Bobby Wagner there. It's worth mentioning with this San Francisco offense, Colin Kaepernick, the news going to the injured list. We were told he requested to go on that injured list, so he's out for the year with the shoulder injury that supposedly the labrum injury back in October against Green Bay, but then didn't follow up, and now surgery scheduled on Thanksgiving.
This is Blaine Gabbert's team for the rest of the year. From a business perspective, he's got a chance. See if he takes advantage of it the rest of this season.
On 3rd down and 10. Underneath the drone. He needs to break a tackle to get a first down. He showed a little outside speed there, but let's see where the spot is. Looks like it's going to be short. With 16 seconds remaining in an opening quarter that has been dominated by the Seahawks, but Jim Tomsula, the rookie head coach, his team showing some life here.
But at least they got out of that backed up situation. Field position won't be as much of an issue after this punt.
And the 49ers will just let it run down. A touchdown pass from Russell Wilson, a touchdown run from Thomas Rawls, and it's 13-0 Seahawks in Seattle. You're watching the NFL on Fox. We begin the second quarter in Seattle. 49ers lining up for their 3rd punt of the game already. Tyler Lockett, who has a touchdown catch in this game, standing inside the Seattle 16-yard line. Bradley Pinion gets the kick away. And taking it out of bounds around the 10-yard line, as always a good time coming to Seattle with the caffeinated crowd excited about the Seahawks, who under 500, Rondé, but the last few years they've had a winning streak when they've needed it to get into the postseason, and then we know what has happened. It seems like they're in the groove early here.
Well, they need to win it out. I mean, they keep talking about winning out. I don't think they need to win out. I think the NFC is such a jumbled mess of teams that they can continue to play good football and get in with probably 9 wins. You know, but they have San Francisco to beat today. They got some games coming up into the division. I like the way they've started, the way they've rallied this team today.
Thomas Rawls, the workhorse for Litch, gets up across the 13, up near the 15, the stats in the opening quarter. And as you look at those, you know, some of the earlier scores, Rondé, teams that were in this wild card hunt, like the Bears and the Falcons, and we could even say the Rams, the Redskins, all lost, which helped Seattle's cause there. Of course, the NFC West still a target for them, but last year they started 3-3, had a winning streak of 6 at the end, made the postseason. Year before, a 7-game winning streak. Wilson on target to the tight end. Here comes a flag in the backfield as Graham goes out of bounds.
I don't have any idea what this flag is.
Well, Ed will explain.
The ball came out quick. I don't know that there could have been a hold.
Personal foul, leg whip. Offense, number 79. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 2nd down.
Call on Gary Gilliam, the right tackle.
Yeah, and he's working over here against Ahmad Brooks, and you'll see as he jumps over him. I mean, I guess you call that a trip? I'm not sure. I don't know what that penalty was.
Well, it turns out being a 6-yard penalty because of the half the distance mark off. And inside the Seattle 7. On 2nd and 12, it's Rawls. who's trying to get outside. Thomas Rawls with a first down.
Thomas Rawls has shown up to play today out of the backfield, whether he's handing the ball off, he's running physical, he's running with purpose, got mean intentions when the ball's in his hands, and the San Francisco 49ers are paying for not wanting to put their face on this kid. He's off to a great start again.
Came in averaging over 5.5 yards a carry. He's averaging almost 6 a carry today. Fred Jackson checks in, rolls, gets a breather. Russell Wilson unloads. And that's Jackson with the catch and carry up to the 37. Close to another Seattle first down. Bryce Brown was released this week by the Seahawks, the former Eagle and Buffalo Bill, and then with Lynch inactive today because of the abdominal injury. It's Rawls and Jackson. Derek Coleman could help out as well with the fullback. After the 9-yard pickup, Rawls comes back in.
Outside. Wide 90. Wait.
First down, Rawls fighting to the 43.
You know, tackling has been an issue with San Francisco today. I mean, just that little 3-yard run there. 3 guys had a chance to tackle Thomas Rawls here, and they just fall off of him. The big run before he runs through a tackle. We saw him run over Brocker earlier, and he just got to get more hats to the ball. This is going to be a tough sledding type of day for this Niners defense.
Rawls again with a big hole, and Rawls inside the 40 of the 49ers. He's only 5'9", but he's running over San Francisco.
Well, he got some help here, and a missed tackle by Navarro Bowman right in the hole, which is uncharacteristic of number 53. Watch Navarro Bowman right here has a clean shot on this run as he cuts back and just falls. Turf Monster got him or something, and Thomas Rawls, another huge gain for the Seahawks.
A 17-yard run for Rawls, who has over 80 yards rushing. Fred Jackson checks in, goes into a receiver spot, and Wilson connects in a tough hit, but Jermaine Kearse held on. That was Eric Reed who laid it on him.
Good clean hit, though, by Eric Reed. See the lowered pad level. He aimed for his chest, hit him with his pads. That's the way football's supposed to be played. That's the emphasis of the rules. Nice hit.
After a gain of 7, Fred Jackson, it'll be 3rd and short. This to get to the 30 for a first down.
This San Francisco defense has played pretty well against the run. We had the game 2 weeks ago when they held Devontae Freeman to 12 yards or whatever it was, and you know, the guys in the middle of this defense, the Ian Williams and the Quentin Dial, you know, they've had great seasons, but today they're just getting bowled over by this Seahawks offensive line. Thomas Rawls and Fred Jackson are having good days because of it.
Remember, Glenn Dorsey injured in the opening series and has not returned on that front line. Thomas Rawls will get another first down. Down to the 23 of the 49ers. 90 yards rushing for Rawls.
You see right there, just the surge. I mean, he goes right through the center guard gap and just plows through. He's 100 yards already in the first quarter and a half of this football game.
The combination of the running backs for Darrell Bevell, the offensive coordinator, for all the heat this line takes. Tom Cable adjusting people to help as Marshawn Lynch watches this team run with success.
Wide 90. Wait.
Down inside the 20. The Seahawks streaks, I mentioned the victory string. They finished 9-1 last year, of course, to get to 12-4 in 2013. That 7-game win streak in the middle of a 13-3 season. And back in 2012, they started 4-4 and won their last 5. They finished with a 7-1 record in that stretch as Pete Carroll, ever the optimist, and on Monday after a tough loss off the bye week and at home to Arizona, was as positive as one could be when we saw him Friday. Time for Wilson. On the run, completes the pass for a first down. His go-to guy, Doug Baldwin, with the grab.
Russell Wilson again out of the pocket. His eyes are always downfield looking for some sort of completion. He told us he doesn't want to run. He wants to be able to throw the ball. He did it there.
They go without a huddle as Fred Jackson gets the carry.
You know, one of the things that Pete Carroll told us also on Friday, Chris, and as maligned as this offensive line has been, he said they got to lead the charge. They need to be aggressive, and I think they're giving them the opportunity to do that today.
And when you think about the successful run that his Seahawks have been on, it always started with the running game and Marshawn Lynch, and then Russell could do his thing, and then the defense would take care of things. It's been a different story this year. Lynch has been hurt in and out of the lineup as he is today. The defense hasn't been able to hold on in some of those fourth quarters. In fact, in all 5 losses. But hoping to add to their lead in the second quarter, a mixed handoff to Rawls, and they'll lose yardage. It's the first thing the Seahawks haven't done well today.
Just a bad handoff between quarterback and Rawls, and some of the penetration. You see Eric Armstead right there with that swim move, and Aaron Lynch with the early penetration just kind of discombobulated that play from the beginning.
And when Armstead does a swim move, right, he's
right?
6'7". I mean, that's an ocean kind of swim move.
Ex-basketball player, and he looks at.
On 3rd and 10, pressure coming. It's picked up, pass caught inside the 5. Tyler Lockett, touchdown Seahawks.
Russell Wilson has been one of the worst quarterbacks under pressure this year, and he gets pressure here. You see NaVorro Bowman coming late, but it puts your corners for San Francisco in one-on-one situations. Tyler Lockett is beating Acker, and then again, the problems with San Francisco today, tackling. 4 guys miss on the littlest guy on the field for the Seahawks, and he falls in for a touchdown.
12th touchdown pass of the season for Russell Wilson. And Hauschka, who missed his first extra point of this year, will try for his second of this game. Snap and hold are good, and so is Hauschka. The Seahawks lead 20-0.
Today's game is sponsored by Visa Checkout, the easier way to pay online. Sign up now. By Burger King. Now get 10 chicken nuggets for $1.49 only at BK. And by T-Mobile. Ditch your carrier and switch to the Un-carrier.
Defense trying to get its act together for the 49ers, pushed around with just 7:15 remaining here in the first half. Hauschka ready to kick off. 2011, last time the 49ers have returned a punt or a kickoff for a touchdown. Actually, it was Ted Ginn who did it against Seattle. That's Bruce Ellington. He's been busy. And he's coming out of the end zone a yard deep. Up around the 20. Cassius Marsh making the special teams play. And an offense that's averaging just 14 points a game, worst in the NFL, has some catching up to do for San Francisco. If the Devil decided to quit, where do you think he'd go? Los Angeles. Of course, that's what happens in the new Fox show, Lucifer.
He gives bad a good name, buddy.
Lucifer is coming in January to Fox. Shane Drone on first down, fighting as hard as he can, just to the 24-yard line. That Seattle drive was 91 yards for the Seahawks and another touchdown. And Rondé, Jim Tomsula told us yesterday the key to having success in Seattle, stay on your own terms.
Well, they're off San Francisco's terms now. They're clearly on their terms, and Seattle's defense is looking to pin their ears back right now.
Gabbert's throw, catch made. Vance McDonald.
It's so easy to play defense in this league when you have a lead because you know that they're going to start chasing the game. And I'm not usually one that advocates chasing the game this early, but when you're down 20 on the road, you know it's going to get loud out here, and Seattle's defenders are just chomping at the bit for every opportunity to make a big play and put a knife in these 49ers.
0 for 3 on third down today. Gabbert going deep for Ellington, overthrows and almost for Richard Sherman.
When you got 3rd and 3, you're backed up. You put 3 tight ends in the football game. You take a play action shot. I'm not sure about this one. He's going to run just this post right here and try to outrun Richard Sherman and the whole safety Earl Thomas. It's a bad pass, miscommunication or whatever. But Jeet Christ, trying to keep this offense on the field, pulls out 3 tight ends in a go route. I'm not quite sure I agree with that one.
Kenyon drives Tyler Lockett at the 25. He's hit hard, knocked down right away. Here comes a flag. Quentin Patton made the tackle.
They're going to say he's defenseless.
There's an injured player from the Seahawks. Nick Moody being tended to. Now, I did not see a fair catch, Rondé, and it did not look initially like helmet to helmet.
During the return, personal foul, unnecessary roughness by the kicking team, number 11. Helmet shot to a defenseless player. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced from the dead ball spot. Seattle's ball, first down.
Of course, this is hard to see from an official's standpoint, but he got that one wrong. That was a clean hit by Patton.
Today's game is sponsored by the Ford F-150. Every other truck is history.
Look, I know they're giving protections to the receivers here, and he's defenseless, but that hit was right in the middle of Tyler Lockett, and I think that is a terrible call. And you see him, he's saying, look, no fair catch signal. What do they expect him to do? That was a bad call.
That's one they'll probably get a letter from the league saying, hey, sorry, we missed that one. Thomas Rawls approaching 100 yards. The penalty puts it all the way up to the 40. And Rawls just stopped short of the 45. The most yards that Marshawn Lynch ever had in a first half rushing as a Seahawk, 100 yards, and that was back in 2012. Rawls ready to surpass that. That's Armstead, who's in for Glenn Dorsey, who is out. Jennifer Hale telling us from the field, Dorsey out for the remainder of the game. Already thin in that area. Tony Girardetti will have to step in now as Armstead heads over to the sideline.
Not quite sure what happened to him. He was away from that play too, but he was face down on the ground. There's Tony Girardetti losing some bodies in the middle of this 3-4 defense.
Seahawks have had their way with the 49ers in this first half, as the score would indicate. Russell Wilson is 9 out of 10 with a couple of touchdown passes. He's run 3 times. Rawls knocked down. There's a flag on the play. Here comes another one. And NFC West rivals shoving each other. Competitive to the end.
They need to save some of that energy for the play on defense. You know, San Francisco at this point in the game, right around midfield, field position is again against them. They're going to need to check their 1-2 meter right now. They need to get a stop. They need to get the ball back for their offense.
Holding offense, number 88. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat second down.
That's on Jimmy Graham. Their what meter?
Their 1-2.
Their 1-2. Okay. The Armstead injury, let's see what happens.
He's right here, and you see the play goes towards him, and just not sure what this is. His helmet came off, so maybe he got kicked in the face. He's got his helmet back on the sideline. He looks fine. See him back in this game here shortly.
So now 2nd and 15. Fred Jackson is in. A chance for the 49er defense to try and tip the momentum a bit. Russell Wilson slips away. A healthy gain. Gets all the way up to the 40.
Great job there by Quentin Dial to diagnose this screen. He was going to hug up the bat before. He's right here in the middle of your screen. The screen's going to come out here, and he just hugs him up. Watch him stop. He realizes the tackle is retreating, and they're setting up a screen, but then he just doesn't have the legs to keep up with Russell. And Russell makes a positive out of what would have been a negative play for the Seahawks offense.
That's what he's done since he's been here. 4 rushes today, 28 yards on the ground. In fact, go back to 2012 with this lead today. 58 straight games the Seahawks have had the lead at some point in the game. And a sizable first half advantage here. Armstead back in, staring at Wilson. On 3rd and 10, Wilson wide open. He completes the pass to Luke Wilson, who's near midfield. And he got the first down. Let's see. Again, yes, he has the first down.
San Francisco dropped back into coverage there, and
no huddle here. Looks like there's a challenge coming. And it looks like another player injured. That's Tony Gerard Eddy. And it looks like Tom Sewell wants to challenge the spot maybe as Gerard Eddy is being tended to. He's the injured player. A lot going on one play.
San Francisco is challenging the forward progress spot on the field.
Ruled a first down on the field, challenged by the 49ers, reviewed by Ed Hockley.
The ruling in the field stands. It appears that the right foot was inbounds. The elbow went down inbounds. That was the down by contact, and the ball was beyond the stake at the time. There is a timeout charge to San Francisco, and the play results in a first down.
And that also means that the 49ers cannot get a third challenge today. Jim Tomsula 0 for 4 in challenging replay this year.
I don't blame him for taking that challenge. It was close. Obviously, they got the call right on the field and in replay, but your team is sieving. You're just giving up yards. 3rd and 10 situation. They can't get off the field on 3rd down. So I understand that one.
Russell Wilson fakes to Fred Jackson and then completes the pass to Cooper Helton. Free agent tight end from Duke. He's from Kentfield, California. More of a receiving tight end behind Jimmy Graham and Luke Wilson.
You know, Russell Wilson had Jimmy Graham there on a corner route, but decided not to push it, jumped it off into the flat. And you know, a lot of people are asking, where's Jimmy Graham in this offense? He's there. They just don't throw it 200 times more than like the New Orleans Saints did. Just got to take advantage of his opportunities when he gets them.
This is Fred Jackson, and he adds to the most rushing yards allowed in a half by the 49ers. This is the most since 1991 that they have given up. Over 130 yards for Seattle on the ground so far.
Winning at the point of attack, Chris. It's all about up front. J.R. Sweezy on that side. Gilliam, the right tackle, just pushing the outside linebacker and D-tackle on that side of the ball. It's just easy yards for Seattle.
Big hole for Fred Jackson. Here comes a flag. The 35, it came in from the backfield. 5 penalties. I should say 4 accepted on the Seahawks.
Offense number 64. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That is their 5th on J.R. Sweezy.
Yeah, he's right here, and you'll see him right there in the middle of your screen. He's going to grab him, flip them around through the point of attack because that's where the run was going, so it's easy for the official to see that hold. And you're shaking your head. You know that was a hold. Usually get away with it.
1st and 20. Has a bad ring to it for Seahawk fans. I heard a lot of that last Sunday night against Arizona.
San Francisco's defense has to take advantage of long situations here. Keep them off schedule.
Wilson with time to throw, and the completion. Lockett, his 3rd catch of the game, to go with his 2 touchdown grabs.
And you see Marcus Cromartie out there at corner. He started last week, or 2 weeks ago, I'm sorry, for the 49ers with all those injuries. And Tom Sula told us yesterday that these young guys, him and Dante, were going to get some more snaps because they earned it. So we'll see him a little bit in this game.
Dante Johnson, who played at NC State, was a teammate of Russell Wilson before Russell transferred on to Wisconsin, and Cromartie is from Wisconsin. Wilson is going to go down. In the pocket, the 49ers, Ahmad Brooks gets to him. That's the 4th sack of the season for Brooks, and we have hit the 2-minute warning. The 49er defense digs in, but the Seahawks have the lead and the football. You can get apps, videos, and a lot more at itunes.com/NFL. Seahawks owner Paul Allen, what an owner he's been. Back in the 90s, this Seahawks team, before he took them over, on their way to moving to Los Angeles. That's back in the news now. On 3rd and 16.
San Francisco's got a chance to cauterize this bleeding and get a stop here. Give the ball back to your quarterback. Give him a 2-minute situation, see if they can get some points on the board before halftime.
Russell Wilson slips a tackle. He's loose. And tries to get inside the 40. Tony Girardetti came back in chasing him.
He's just amazing moving back out of the pocket. His footwork is just amazing. You know, his elusiveness, his vision down the field is always there, but you get these big 300-pound, 280-pound D linemen, they just have no chance to keep him in the pocket. Made something positive again. Get off on 3rd down, but he did make something positive out of that busted coverage, or that busted play.
The 2nd most sacked quarterback in the league this year, with his 34th coming today.
And a lot of that is because of plays like that. Russell Wilson has a tendency, and if you watch enough Seahawks games, you know this. He wants to hold on to the ball. He's safe with it, and it fits into their philosophy. Don't turn it over, make safe throws, run the football. But because of it, he takes a lot of sacks.
An intentional, it appears, delay of game, as they will bring out John Ryan to punt here on 4th down. Russell Wilson, 5 rushes today, 34 yards.
Delay of game, offense. The penalty is declined. 4th down.
49ers will have 2 timeouts and a minute 50 or less to work with. But Russell Wilson, 9 straight completions in this game, 12 out of 13 and a couple of touchdowns. And of course, Thomas Rawls, the workhorse, with 96 yards rushing and a touchdown run. This is Ryan's first punt of this game, and trying to drop it inside the 10, and he does perfectly. And it bounces the wrong way, but the Seahawks down it. And well done. See what the 49ers have on offense with a minute 40 and 2 timeouts. Here in Seattle, the old USC connection. That's Will Ferrell with Pete Carroll, Randy Johnson, USC, and of course the Seattle Mariner pitcher, Hall of Famer, raised the banner for the 12th man. 2 guys there, one's funny, the other one's an actor. Gabbert from his own end zone to Drone, who slips a tackle. Sean Drone with maybe the best offensive play of the day for San Francisco. The first 4 possessions running, they only had 2 first downs this half. Seahawks have 18.
A lot of the knock on Seattle this year is that the offense can't stay on the field. Well, the time possession now is 20-8. They've been doing their job.
Blaine Gabbert walking into a hornet's nest here in Seattle after a 19-yard pickup. Again to Drone. This time he's knocked backwards. And Chancellor. Will be a loss of 1. Clock runs here.
Not a lot of urgency right now for the San Francisco 49ers. Get some plays off here.
Yeah, even a field goal would at least help you feel better about going to the half if you're the 49ers. As Drone carries, unusual delay or draw there up to the 30. And they're going to, looks like a timeout will be used by Seattle. So just over a minute to go. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee in Los Angeles.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, Baltimore gets a bittersweet win. Romo's return reaps results, and Newton and Winston collect 5 TDs apiece. Our legendary lineup examines that plus much more on the Visa halftime.
Hey, Kurt, why am I the only guy standing out here?
Because you're one of a kind, Jimmy.
Hey, he's got good hair, too.
You know, San Francisco now, as you're looking at the 49ers, they go play conservative here. Get themselves to a third down after that run. And they better convert a first down here. You're giving the ball back to Seattle with 2 timeouts and just under a minute to play.
0 for 4 on third down today. They need 7 yards. Gabbert on target and has Quentin Patton, who goes out of bounds, and a first down grab.
This was a really good throw by Blaine Gabbert. Stood there in the face of some pressure from Michael Bennett. Completes the third down, keeps this drive going.
Well, the offensive lineman, there's a sense of relief moving on from Kaepernick, and no disrespect to him, but when Gabbert took that tough hit against Atlanta a couple of weeks ago and came back into the game, he won over a lot of players' further respect. After a 15-yard pickup, dumps it to Drone, who puts a move on. It's down near another first down, close to the 45. Timeout used by the 49ers.
Shaun Drone looks really good to me as a runner. And again, I'll go back to the fact that he hasn't played a lot of football. He's sitting on his couch doing nothing, waiting for teams to call. And all he did was come in, have a great game against Atlanta, and showing his versatility on this drive here.
Yeah, he played in 5 games earlier in the year for Cleveland, only had a couple of carries, but had 16 carries in that win over Atlanta. And again, his background, undrafted from North Carolina, Redskins, Kansas City, Baltimore, Colts, Bears, San Diego, Cleveland, and now the 49ers.
I thought it was funny yesterday when they came in, he walked into our meeting. Well, we didn't ask to talk to him. He wanted to come up and hang out with the big boys, but we were getting ready to sit down with Blaine Gabbert. But yes, an impressive guy. Nice to talk to him. Happy for his success. But he's going to need some explosive plays in this offense in the rest of the game.
First time across the 50 for the 49ers today. The pass. And juggled. Did he hang on? No. Drone had a tough catch to make there on the sideline with Bobby Wagner on him. Like Gabbert took a hit.
He did take a hit, but this was great coverage by Bobby Wagner. That play was designed to kind of pick the linebacker and get him up the sideline, but as Bobby Wagner's been doing all year, made a great play.
Third and a yard. Pass is caught by Anquan Bolden. Good grab of the crowd inside the 30 of the Seahawks.
The grab was great. How about the throw? There was 2 or 3 Seahawks there, and he diced it through all 3 of them.
An impressive drive, the most impressive drive of this 49er offense today. Gabbert, who's 11 out of 16, has room to run, and he can, and save time going out of bounds. That was one of the weapons that he used to pull off the win against Atlanta a couple of weeks ago and got the first down.
He's got that escapability, obviously a better athlete than people give him credit for. Even the Seahawks defensive coordinator, Chris Richard, said you got to count for his athleticism. He doesn't look like he should be able to run like that, but he definitely can.
13 seconds remain. 1 timeout, 49ers. Gabbert. Catch made. Vance McDonald has a 49er touchdown.
down on the field earlier. I saw them practicing this throw down in the red zone. This little seam route through 3 deep coverage is always going to be there. You just have to have the confidence to put it in there. And Blaine Gabbert, the throw in the crowd was great. But see, Cam Chancellor makes that move forward on the underneath defender, and Blaine Gabbert knows it, puts a bullet right in the chest of his tight end for a touchdown.
3 touchdown passes for Gabbert, all have gone to tight ends. And for Vance McDonald, that's his first touchdown catch.
Tempo on that drive, Chris. It's what energized the offense, got them down the field, had that big third and long conversion, and they get 7 points out of it.
It's now a 20-7 game with 9 seconds remaining in the half. Let's take another look. Blaine Gabbert said he actually enjoys playing on the road, Rondé. He said that it makes you focus on details even more, and if you have success, it's even that much sweeter.
You know what else, though, Chris? And Jim Tomsula told us this. You got to, toughen up, get that jaw, stick your jaw out, get that mentality. And when I look at Blaine Gabbert, 2 weeks ago when we had him in Atlanta, he displayed that. On that drive right there, he displayed that. That's why people on this team, the players on this team, are rallying around this quarterback.
With a backup quarterback who's now the starter and a backup running back in Sean Drone, who are each starting their second games as members of the San Francisco 49ers. There's the 26-year-old former Missouri star, left college a year early, drafted with the 10th overall selection by the Jacksonville Jags. And then the 49ers traded a 6th-round pick for him back in 2014. And he re-signed a new contract deal with this 49er team, so has another year after this season. And given the Kaepernick situation, he's the guy.
And really, Chris, you got to feel like these last 7 games, including this one, he's auditioning. He's auditioning for this team, for the players, the coaching staff, see if he can be the guy. I mean, they may or may not draft a quarterback, who's to speculate there, but they got something in this kid, the 2 games that we've seen.
And for him, it's a chance to revitalize a career that he said he never lost confidence that one day he'd be a starter again, but was grateful without lobbying when things were going bad for Colin Kaepernick, just grateful to have a spot, chance to earn his way back. That drive, over 90 yards, took a minute and a half, and the 19-yard touchdown pass to his tight end. Seahawks will get the ball to start the second half. At least the 49ers will be kicking off to Seattle. And so a blazing start for the Seahawks, but Gabbert at least helps the 49ers go into the locker room with a more positive attitude. It's 20-7 at the half here in Seattle. Stay tuned for the Visa halftime coming up after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. NFC West battle here in Seattle. Blaine Gabbert getting the 49ers on the board right before the half, and San Francisco getting ready to kick off to start the second half. Today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. Thomas Rawls stepping in for Marshawn Lynch. Inactive today with the abdominal injury has been outstanding. The free agent running back from Central Michigan, the rookie with 96 rushing yards, including a touchdown. That was today's excitement brought to you by Nissan. As we get ready for the start of the second half, these Seahawks, they kind of look like the same old Seahawks, jumping out to that early 20-0 lead, now 20-7 with Rondé Barber, Chris Myers. Nice to have you watching, but a couple of rookies, Rawls and also Tyler Lockett with 2 touchdowns, helping this team stay on top. It's so difficult to do.
Yeah, they were looking for inspiration on this Seahawks offense, and it's come in the form of Thomas Rawls. He's got 96 yards, and much like he did in the relief performance in Chicago and his first start of the game in Cincinnati, he's showing that explosive ability and that acceleration that people in this building just love.
Still Russell Wilson and Richard Sherman, but the 49ers now, their defense, Rondé, did a nice job before the half to give their offense a chance. They're going to be on the spot again.
They absolutely will have to get something going on that side of the ball, whether it's running the ball, whether it's Blaine Gabbert chasing it, throwing the football down the field. Take advantage of your opportunity, see if you can get this game back close and give themselves a chance. But they got to get off the field. The San Francisco defense has to get a stop against this Seattle offense that has just been rolling so far today.
The punter, Bradley Pinion, also handling kickoffs. Did not give Lockett a chance last time, but here comes Tyler Lockett. No, he will down it. And from the 20-yard line, the Seattle offense takes over down to the field, and Jennifer Hale.
Chris, Pete Carroll fired up about Thomas Rawls' success in that first half, and he's giving a lot of credit to that O-line, saying their blocking has been superb today. Meanwhile, Tom Sula had some harsh words for his defense in regards to tackling. To sum it up, he was not happy with their effort first half. They were a silent, somber group going into the locker room. They came out with more fire in their eyes. Let's see if it translates to the field, Chris.
All right, Jen and Jim. Tom Sula, very emotional coach, long-time assistant, first time a head coach in the NFL. Has had that experience over in Europe. On first down, Russell Wilson will run and lose yardage. Here comes a flag as Aaron Lynch brought him down.
Holding, offense, number 68. The penalty is declined. Brings up second down.
The left guard, Justin Britt, called for the penalty, but because Lynch made such a nice defensive play, they'd rather have it 2nd and 13. And we checked some of the stats from the first half. And Russell Wilson, again, 9 straight completions.
Call that efficient?
Very
One
efficient.
completion, and it was a drop.
And run with success, 6 carries over 30 yards for Russell Wilson. Rolls met Tard. It took a couple extra tacklers, but Jaquaski Tard first. The rookie safety got there for San Francisco. And it'll bring up 3rd down and 11. That defensive line, Glenn Dorsey injured early and out for the remainder of this game. And the secondary active. Pass is caught, but short of the first down. Curse falls to the ground. The coverage was good, so the defense of the 49ers did its job. You sense even with halftime run day, a little momentum shift.
Well, good job by the 49ers defense. Obviously, you start the series with a sack. You get a negative play on second down, so they're off schedule now. Seattle's off schedule. Then you can play coverage, keep everything in front of you like you just saw, get off the field, punt. Now this offense has a chance. They can get down here and make a score. This game will be a lot more interesting.
Bruce Ellington, no fair catch. He didn't know where to go. And he'll go down. Special teams play, well done by Seattle. Here comes Gabbard and the 49ers on offense, trailing 20-7.
Today's game is sponsored by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Chrysler. Hurry in to the Chrysler Black Friday Blockbuster Sales Event. And by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL.
Beautiful day in the Pacific Northwest. Our referee Ed Hockley and the crew, Rondé Barber, Chris Myers, an early happy Thanksgiving, but a very early Merry Christmas from Ed Hockley and his crew, sending out the cards to all that are ready for the Christmas holiday season. I don't think Quentin Patton
A little early for Christmas
will
cards,
be
isn't it?
receiving one of those from earlier in the first half, but a nice thought as Sean Drone, who's been the workhorse for this team. You know, Ron, it's amazing in a 3-week period here as we check the offensive stats here that the 49ers have gone through a change at starting running back, quarterback, and tight end, obviously, with that Vernon Davis
And
trade.
all big positions for this team coming into the year. And obviously they were dysfunctional somewhat on offense at times earlier in the season. The trade, you can kind of understand. Kaepernick's benching, you can kind of understand. And then Sean Drones, to me, having a great taking advantage of his opportunity since he's been starting.
And Gabbard has 2 with all day to throw it wide open. Catch made inside the 40. And there goes Garrett Selleck inside the 30. Using the tight end quite a bit. Vance McDonald, his first career touchdown moments before the end of the first half. And Selleck this time on a gain of 43.
He's right here, and then again, I watch a lot of football, and every team in football has this. He's just trying to hide out. Nobody in Seattle defense finds him, and he's down the field for a big completion.
pressure on Gabbert. Gets away, gets a block from his tight end and gets out of bounds around the 25-yard line.
And again, there's the speed and some of the athleticism of Blaine Gabbert. You know, Michael Bennett, last time these two teams played, had his fill. He was just taking turns going up and down the line of scrimmage, beating whoever he felt like, but he couldn't beat Blaine Gabbert there on that scramble. Picks up a first down.
Actually a healthy gain running, but second down as Drone tries to get the first down, slips a tackle and fights hard, and he may have it. What an effort from Shaun Drone.
Yes, thanks for correcting me, partner. Don't know what I was looking at there.
Well, we got the first down eventually.
First down anyway.
That's a very impressive run from Drone.
You know, Carlos Hyde is a dynamic runner, but Shaun Drone, he's doing some of the dirty work, running through tackles, sticking his head down, trusting that his O-line is going to give him some space. He's able to pick up some yardage there. Definite momentum switch here, Chris, with the stop. San Francisco come out of halftime after the score. Got to like what you're seeing here.
Blaine Gabbert dumps it off to Drone, who's hit hard. Knocked down inside the 19-yard line by Mike Morgan, former USC Trojan.
And Mike Morgan, of course, is starting for Bruce Irvin, who's out this week. There's KJ Wright. To me, when I watch film of these guys, he is all over the field. Bobby Wagner starts in the middle to get the calls, but KJ Wright is a special player too.
Just off the fingertips of Torrey Smith. It'll be third down and 10. The 49ers, Rondé, 91 of their 130 yards of offense in the first half came after the 2-minute warning in that last drive, and they start here with an impressive drive. Now it's third down.
Two tight ends at the bottom of your screen. Watch one of these guys in this underneath coverage. Only two wide receivers on the field. Both tight ends are down here.
Gabbert throws, catch made by the tight end, and that is Vance McDonald, who goes out of bounds, but not enough for the first down.
Just showed you those tight ends at on the right side, and they're trying to run two seams like this, but there's just good defense to bumping the guys into each other, and he had that throw there, but what didn't look clean for him, so he decided to scramble out of the pocket and wasn't able to pick up the first down.
Looked like he could have led Selleck towards the end zone, but a chance to get three.
I think he was trying to be safe with the ball. I mean, of course, he had the defender with his back to him. You know, if he had some more confidence, he would have let that ball rip, and it probably would have been a touchdown.
From 27 yards away, Phil Dawson delivers for San Francisco, and they cut the lead down to 10. We welcome you back at Seattle and Colin Cowherd on FS1. You can see him on the Herd every weekday at noon on FS1. 49ers, who have had trouble scoring up in Seattle. In fact, their last 9 trips, they failed to score 20 points in any one game. Halfway there, but trailing. Tyler Lockett will down it. And Seattle takes over at the 20-yard line. Nice to see Sandy Gong, part of our Fox family, out visiting with her family, enjoying the game. And Colin Cowherd will be talking about this and other NFL games. A big college football weekend as well. Noon Eastern on FS1. And you mentioned momentum, Rondé, as a guy who played here, a member of the opposition. Seattle back on offense, trying to take charge with a 10-point lead. Thomas rolls, gets to the 25. That'll put him over 100 yards rushing today.
There's 140 yards rushing in the first half of this game, and really I look at what San Francisco is trying to do, and it's really a credit to Seattle, though. They're spreading out this offense. They're making these defensive tackles play two gaps, and when you do that with the 3-4 front, you just create huge running lanes. That's why you're seeing these big explosive runs by Thomas Rawls today.
Pass is caught. Doug Baldwin has a first down.
You know, this could have been a run. I think this was a designed run, but Russell Wilson looked across, didn't like the box count, just swings it out to his number one wide receiver, picks up an easy first down there.
Fourth catch of the game for Baldwin. 8 different Seahawk players have caught a pass today from Russell Wilson.
Wide 90, wait.
Rawls slips an ankle tackle and goes all the way inside the 40 of the 49ers is Thomas Rawls.
There's some good blocks in this thing, but Jaquiski Tartt has to make this tackle in the backfield. You're going to see him come right through here, but Thomas Rawls is just too strong, runs right through that little arm tackle. He fails to wrap up, and again, the problem with this 49ers defense today, bad tackling. It continues to haunt him. It'll continue to haunt him until they get it fixed.
He rushed for 100 yards in 2 of 3 games, did Rawls, and he's got over 130 today. Wilson is going to dump that ball off. Good pressure from Aaron Lynch. Wilson going to the turf, did a nice job of not losing yardage on that play.
Good pressure right up the gut to start with by Ian Williams.
There was no intentional grounding. The quarterback was out of the pocket. And the ball got passed beyond the line of scrimmage. Second down.
Appreciate the clarification for those that might have been wondering.
Watch Ian Williams right here. He's right in the middle of your screen. Just watch what he does to the center here. And the guard just right into the backfield, disrupts that play and gives Aaron Lynch a chance to get a sack on Russell Wilson.
On 2nd and 10, catch made inside the 20. Shoved backwards is Jermaine Kearse.
How about that throw there by Russell Wilson? Just flicks it through the seam. You know, he's not a big guy, Russell Wilson. To stand next to him, I'm like, man, I could play quarterback in this league. He's only about an inch taller than me. But he has such a strong and powerful release. I love when you see balls like that go through the secondary and just completed like that.
And Kearse sure-handed on that one. Remember, he had that go-ahead fourth quarter 35-yard touchdown grab in the 2013 NFC Championship game against San Francisco. As Rawls takes it. Now in the pregame warm-ups, you know, quarterbacks do all kinds of things. This is Russell Wilson, I guess, working on his release
yeah,
here?
There you go. You see the snap the towel down, get that. When you see him release a football, it's quick. It's like a pitcher throwing some sort of moving ball, curveball. You do baseball, Chris.
Well,
what am I looking for?
Well, he could have talked to Randy Johnson, who's in the building.
Yeah, there you go.
But of course, he's left-handed.
Yeah, but that's exactly what his release looks like. It snaps down, the ball comes out tight. Great throwing motion.
15 out of 17 for Russell Wilson today as Rawls chews up some 49ers getting down near the 11-yard line. 20 carries for the rookie running back. It'll be 3rd down and 4.
It's getting a big load. I mean, you expect maybe to get some taken off of him with Fred Jackson. You know, Derek Coleman, they told us if Marshawn Lynch wasn't able to go, Derek Coleman would get some snaps. I think they're comfortable turning around and wearing this kid out, man.
He can handle it. He's lived up to the task. And they have taken nothing beats down momentum like a running game. And that's what they have going here. Fred Jackson checks in and looks like the Seahawks may have moved on that left side.
Ball start offense, number 76. 5-yard penalty. It's 3rd down.
That is on the left tackle, Russell Okung. 6th penalty accepted against the Seahawks today. A great improvement off of what happened last Sunday night. There's Tom Cable, who's done an amazing job with this offensive line. Seems like a year in and year out. pass it to a wide open Fred Jackson. Knocked out at the 15 by Tart.
I just talked about how we missed that earlier tackle on Thomas Rawls. That was a great tackle by Jaquiski Tartt. He came out of nowhere. That looked like it was going to be a chance for a run and catch. Makes a nice tackle, gets him on the field, and sets up a field goal opportunity for Seattle.
Drafted in the second round, seemingly out of nowhere, the rookie from Samford, originally from Mobile, Alabama. Stephen Hauschka to try a 33-yarder. Nails him. Teams trade field goals here in the third quarter. Seahawks with a 23-10 advantage.
Today's game is sponsored by Verizon. Better matters.
This season, stream live local Sunday afternoon games right on your smartphone with NFL Mobile. Just over 5 minutes to play here in the third quarter. The underdog 49ers within 2 scores of the hometown Hawks. Ellington bringing it out. Ellington with some blockers in a hole and loses the football. It's still loose. And it may have gone out of bounds. And if it did, it would remain 49ers football without a recovery from either side, and they're going to spot it at the 32.
Well, he got lucky here. This getting ready to be a good return, but continue to fight for that ball.
Looked like Deshaun Shedd may have knocked the ball out from Ellington, but the 49ers keep the football. Blaine Gabbert has created a spark here for the 49er offense last few series. And Sean Drone waits for blockers. Runs into a couple of Seahawks, bringing up second down. Let's talk about the Seattle defense, Ronnie. They've taken some heat for the fourth quarter leads that have gotten away from them, but they statistically allowing just the second fewest yards in the NFL coming in.
Well, they continue to do what they've always done. They're primarily 3 high, so you get a lot of guys at the line of scrimmage, 7 to 8 guys in the box always. They've just done some uncharacteristic things, giving up some deep pass plays. So far today, they've been really efficient, playing the way that I expect a Seattle Seahawks defense to play.
Cadet is coming to the game, backup running back. Gabbert has a first down, and there's a flag down as he slides near midfield.
This is going to be a hold for sure. His pocket collapsed.
Holding offense, number 61. 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Andrew Tiller.
And Andrew Tiller's a young guy that our coaches described as having heavy hands, but hands a little bit too heavy on that pass play, and it was a clear hole.
Drone has 6 catches to lead this 49er receiving team, and Torrey Smith, the high-priced free agent from Baltimore, has yet to catch a ball today. On 2nd and 16 after the penalty, Gabbert with room to run, throws on the run and completes to Anquan Boldin, who gets a first down, and still slipping through the arms of Seahawk defenders up near the 48-yard line.
You know what was good about this play is that Anquan Boldin runs this route, and he's just kind of hanging out, chilling. And Blaine Gabbert does a good job buying some time and just finds this area right in the zone, sits down. The ball comes to him for
an
first down completion.
That was missing, Rondé, before with the previous quarterback. Drone bumps into his own man, the fullback, and is thrown down at the 45.
This Seattle front is so active. Just impressive players. Mike Bennett completely disrupts this play right here with his penetration. Tried to cut him, but him getting into the backfield forces 2 or 3 other guys to miss their assignments on that 49er offense. Tackle for loss.
Gabbert open, hits his tight end, Vance McDonald, who goes out of bounds.
Again, you get these 3-deep concepts, and somebody's got to run with the tight end through the zone, and this time it's Kevin Pierre-Louis, and he just can't keep up with McDonald. Nice throw by Blaine Gabbert there, too. It was right on time, catchable, big first down.
McDonald, who came in with 9 catches for the entire season, has 4 today, including a touchdown, his first career in the NFL. After a gain of 36, Gabbert on first down off the hands of Quentin Patton. For the season, opposing tight ends, Rondé, have attacked this Seattle defense. Obviously, we've seen it today.
They really have. Look at that, 50 receptions. And that was coming into the game. 6 more on the evening today. And it's just, there's soft spots in that underneath coverage, and if you're willing to attack them, you got a chance. You're not going to go for pay dirt with these Legion of Boom guys on the back end. That's where you got to win.
Time, pass on target to Bolden. Catches it and goes out of bounds. Let's see if it's good enough for the first down or not.
We mentioned this last game we had with Blaine Gabbert. The ball comes out on time. This offense was not doing that when Colin Kaepernick was the quarterback. He hit his back foot, knew exactly where he wanted to go, and threw a strike to his Anquan Bolden.
And good enough for the first down. It's 1st and goal, 49ers. Chandron the back. He gets the carry. And gets around the 5 before being pushed back. Well, I was talking to someone in the 49er organization who looked at a lot of game coaches tape, Rondé, like you do, and said that, not to pile on Colin Kaepernick, who didn't make the trip out here, but said that he left more than 20 touchdowns out just by missing open targets, thus the benching and the chance for Gabbert.
Well, Jim Tomsula told us that he had to make a decision. He probably, as I'm looking at it, could have made it sooner. And there was this game last week 7, I think, was when they said enough is enough. It's time to make the change.
Here comes a flag.
False start offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, it's 2nd down.
Eric Pierce, who was taken advantage of in that previous meeting by the Seattle defense, called for the penalty there.
Most of those pressures last time these teams played were over right tackle, right guard. Eric Pierce gave up his share. They got a new right guard in there today, Andrew Tiller, because the play was poor there.
Gabbert, and it's almost intercepted. He was trying to go to Drone, and stepping in front was KJ Wright.
Just a miscommunication here. It's an option route, choice route, so to speak. He's going to come out here and he's got a chance to go that way or this way. And Blaine Gabbert thinks he's going to go one, and he doesn't. And he almost hit KJ Wright for a touchdown the other way.
3rd and goal. Sean Drone has it and will go out of bounds. Again, the check down in this case, Rondé, at some point you got to either go for the end zone. You know you're getting a field goal out of it unless you turn it over.
You got options in the end zone too, and I mean, I know you're trying to be safe, protect the ball, give yourself a chance to kick the field goal, but buy a little. He had a chance, I think, to buy a little time there, find a completion under the goalpost. You know, one of the things quarterbacks, good ones, do is they extend plays in the red zone because they know plays are going to end up back in the middle of the end zone. He had a chance to do that, and he just didn't. He wanted to get it out of his hands too quick.
From 25 yards out, Phil Dawson, who hit from 27 earlier. And at age 40 in his 3rd season with the 49ers after 14 in Cleveland, he delivers. Seahawks still lead by 10. Torrey Smith, who is without a catch today, feeling a little pain. This was a mix-up in the end zone as they ran into each other. And
A little friendly fire there.
Quentin Patton and Torrey Smith kind of getting in each other's way.
California love in the stadium too. How about that? A little colder here than it is there.
Tyler Lockett can't field the grounder. Coming out to the 20-yard line. So with 7 seconds remaining in the third quarter, Russell Wilson leads the offense out. Those are his numbers today, and the rookie Tyler Lockett with both of the touchdown catches. And Thomas Rawls, 21 carries, 140 yards. There's Lockett.
You know, Thomas Rawls is impressed. I think a lot of people in his opportunities to play, and you say, why isn't he getting more touches? But really, when Marshawn Lynch is playing, how do you take touches away from 24? So I like that he's taking advantage of this chance here.
Rawls on the carry to end the third quarter. Seahawk fans are wondering, can Seattle hold a fourth quarter lead? They're up by 10. Rondé Barber, Jen Hale, our entire NFL on Fox crew. Glad to have you watching with us from Seattle. The Seahawks trying to get back in a groove here and chase down Arizona in the NFC West, or at least stay alive in the wild card race. And things have fallen in place for them today, but some of the other teams that Pete Carroll might be concerned about.
Isn't it crazy to be considering playoff implications this early in the season, but you have so many teams with similar records. It's inevitable, I think.
Done with the bye weeks for teams after this weekend. Penalty here.
False start offense number 65. 5-yard penalty. It's second down.
Pre-snap penalties, killers. No, it's only 5 yards. Got 7 more to add on to the 14 that they had last week. Frustrating for a coordinator offense trying to get going.
That goes from 2nd and 7 now to 2nd and 12. Russell Wilson, pressure in his face, has time and has to dump it off to his tight end Luke Wilson. It'll be third down. Let's check in with Kurt Menefee for a game break. Kurt?
The league's leading rusher, Adrian Peterson, 12 carries, just 35 yards in the game against Green Bay, but one of them was for a 6-yard touchdown. Green Bay still on top, though, 19-13 as they get towards the end of the third quarter. Chris, Rondé, yeah.
Thank you, Kurt. And the Seahawks will play the Steelers, and then they're at Minnesota, which will be interesting as you see how the Vikings have moved to the top of the NFC North, trailing Green Bay at the moment. Keep you posted on that game. Patience completing the pass to Jimmy Graham. Up to the 43-yard line of the first down.
Haven't mentioned Jimmy Graham much at all today. This is just a simple little route. Navarro Bowman jumps away from where the action is on this play and is a huge hole for Jimmy Graham for that first down.
Without a huddle, Fred Jackson the back after a gain of 20. And Russell Wilson, being chased by Lynch again, gets knocked down and gets rid of the football, saving another sack.
You know, the Seahawks are, watch, he's going to run in here and run in here, but on the other side of the field there, Navarro Bowman jumped something on this side, and you see him coming back into the frame. If he would have just stayed where he was supposed to be instead of getting greedy, I think, a little bit, would have had a chance to stop that third down.
Graham has just 2 catches today. Quick pass, Baldwin. He's got a first down. He's loose to the 36 of San Francisco. I think they were thinking he was going to just go out of bounds, but he never did.
Well, I hate to keep reading the same chapter from the same book, but it's over and over again today with these 49ers. The tackling is just horrid. It's horrendous. Can't expect to win on the road against a good football team if your defenders are not willing to tackle. Some turn down hits right there. That's a big play for Seattle.
Let's take a closer look. Did he step out here? Look at that footwork.
It was close, but I think his foot was still in bounds, Chris.
Too late now if you wanted to try to do something with that, as Wilson flips to Lockett. And he goes out of bounds around the 30.
Come on. Really? That is not how Darrell Bevell drew that play up. And I say that now, but Tyler Lockett was kind of chilling behind the play here, and Russell Wilson was more than confident to throw that ball after it broke on the other side of the field.
And Jimmy Graham, I think Darrell Bevell was saying he was open on the play.
Well, this is a design run. It's read option. I mean, if he could have let that thing go, but I don't think that was his initial target.
Wilson has it. Wide open is Rawls. Thomas Rawls. Touchdown, Seattle. From 31 yards out.
They got no answer for Thomas Rawls today, whether it's as a runner or as a receiver. He is absolutely destroying this San Francisco defense. How does a guy get this wide open in the flat? Some overcommitment to the other side of the ball for San Francisco, and again, tackling an issue. Barely gets a finger on him. And he runs in for the third passing touchdown of the day for Russell Wilson.
How does a guy like Rawls go undrafted and signed as a free agent?
It's crazy business, man. Crazy business. Guys like this slip through the crack all the time. And again, you just have to appreciate that he is dominating his opportunity to shine today.
House going to try the extra point. And that was strange looking and didn't go through. Looked like it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. But Lynch signaling for his teammate, the rookie Thomas Rawls, nearly 200 yards of total offense and 2 touchdowns.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Chili's, by Hyundai, an official sponsor of the NFL, and by Miller Lite, back in its original bottle, but not for long. It's Miller time.
A 3-touchdown game for Russell Wilson, a 2-touchdown game for Rawls. Over 140 yards rushing and a couple of catches, including that one for 6. Back of the end zone, wisely, Bruce Ellington downs it.
Yeah, there's officially, I think, 12 missed tackles.
What, 12?
on this day. But hold on, pause this right here. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in the screen. There'll be another one that comes in here, and it's another missed tackle. That's 4. He's going to miss him again. It's crazy how poorly this San Francisco defense is playing. And then the next play, Will Hoyt has a chance to get Rawls down in the flat, barely gets a finger on him. And it can look to those reasons. There's one reason they're losing this football game right now. Terrible tackling.
And that extra point was tipped. That's why it's 29-13. Gabbert on target to Bolden, who makes the catch near midfield. What a throw and what a grab.
Awesome throw, except Anquan Bolden came right off the field with the hamstring, and Jen mentioned earlier that he was trying to keep that thing warm. As he stretches out here a little bit, comes to the ground. Sometimes it's just a little bit of strain that re-aggravates that injury, and he goes to the sideline. He's had a good game today. They're going to miss him if he's not able to come back.
After a gain of 28. Drone, seen a lot of this today. In the meeting a month ago, the 49er offense had 142 yards of total offense. They have almost 300 today.
Blaine Gabbert's been good. That's the bottom line. He's played better than Colin did against this defense. He's made more decisive throws. 21 of 29 today. Last week, or the other week when he started in Atlanta, he completed 19 passes of 25, and he had 4 drops. He's efficient, makes strong arm throws. It's looking good to me as the starting quarterback of the 49ers.
Sean Drone is thrown down. And you know, the last two times, Ronnie, that this offense and Gabbert moved the ball, they settled for 3. And there were chances there maybe to be more aggressive. You just can't do that and stay in a game with Seattle like this.
Anquan Boldin's coming back onto the field. But yes, you're exactly right, Chris. On the road, I can't say it enough. I've never been here, but it is so loud, and you cannot give up those opportunities to score touchdowns there. You got to put 7 points on the board. They weren't able to do it, and now they're chasing the game.
On 3rd and 12. Underneath and incomplete. Last 49er quarterback to get a win up here, Alex Smith. Last 49er quarterback to get more than 23 points, J.T. O'Sullivan. That's how tough it is to score on the Seahawks in Seattle when you're a 49ers quarterback.
Well, when you're 2 of 9 or now 2 of 10 on 3rd down, you don't have a chance. So yes, he's made some good throws. He's made some quick decisions in my mind. 2 quick decisions, too quick of a decision to check the ball down. They need to continue drives, get first downs. I think he made a mistake throwing that ball in the flat there.
Fair catch called for inside the 15-yard line by Tyler Lockett. And the Seattle offense will take over, protecting a 29-13 lead. Over 10.5 minutes remain in the 4th. Anquan Boldin, his first game back after missing a couple of games with a hamstring, puts on the sweatpants.
Yeah, Jen gave us that report. Something to stay warm. He's got the heating pads over there.
5 catches for him in the game.
Maybe Torrey Smith needs to put some on too. We haven't heard it mentioned his name all day.
He's had no catches, couple of targets, had no catches in the earlier meeting.
And again, you can tell, I think, that this offense is scared to challenge Richard Sherman. No balls have gone that direction since the first quarter.
Thomas Rawls squirts through the middle. Up across the 30. What a game he is having.
How about his change of direction skills? Now, Marshawn Lynch cannot do this. Look at it, put his foot in the ground, get almost 90 degrees to go around that tackle, and then continue like Marshawn Lynch to finish, fall forward. Nice run by Thomas Rawls.
Well, the Seahawks told us he likes contact. Over 160 yards rushing, averaging 7 a carry.
He likes being elusive too, Chris. Jeez, this guy's killing it today.
And again, that touchdown catch. And he gets another catch. But because of a couple of missed extra points, it's still a 2-score game, a 16-point difference. Obviously, 49ers have to get 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. But for Marshawn to miss this game, Marshawn Lynch and Seattle to have control of it, that's a plus for this Seattle team that wants to start a run to get back toward the postseason and get to 5-5. Tyler Lockett is knocked up short of the 40.
This offense has been really efficient.
And we have an injured player. That's the center, Patrick Lewis, for the Seahawks. Lemuel Jean-Pierre will likely come in to take over. He has played quite a bit this year in the center spot. Russell Wilson and him making sure they're in sync. The offensive line, along with the performance of Rawls, having a good afternoon here in Seattle.
Today's game on Fox is sponsored by Cialis.
These fans happy, a season high 447 yards of offense for the Seahawks. Patrick Lewis helped off the field. Jean-Pierre at center. On 3rd down and 2, Russell Wilson to Jimmy Graham, but a flag in the secondary.
I think this is going to be holding on Jimmy Ward on Tyler Lockett. This play will stand as a 1st down.
Saw Quentin Patton over there. John at somebody, one of his teammates, bringing him back. I'll take with Jimmy Graham.
Holding defense number 25. The penalty is declined. Play results in a 1st down.
So the completion, Russell Wilson, Ronnie, coming off probably the worst game for him of the season. They had the bye week and then losing to Arizona. He's got 3 touchdown passes, that 4 years, $61 million guaranteed the contract, the celebrity girlfriend. People were asking him this week about too much distraction, maybe not enough football. He's showing us today what he's all about, getting rid of it there.
You're Russell Wilson. You sign a big contract. You've been to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. Start dating a superstar. It's almost, you're asking for that type of attention.
There's a guy in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers, dealing with the same thing.
And not that it's true, but when you put yourself out there like that, perception sometimes becomes reality. The reality is that Russell Wilson goes into the building like he's always does. First guy in, last guy out, puts in the work, and lets other people talk about him and his girlfriend.
And as Fred Jackson carries, his career winning percentage at home all time, and that's why those back-to-back home losses coming in were upsetting. But look at this list of the folks in the Bay Area. Darryl LaMonica, the great Raider, and he's among some of the best ever. Terry Bradshaw on the Fox pregame show. And, of course, 2 Super Bowls, and a chance no NFC team has been to 3 straight. Yeah, Buffalo went to 4 straight Super Bowls. Be an uphill climb, but Wilson's up to the challenge. Going deep and slightly overthrows the speedy Tyler Lockett, who almost had his 3rd touchdown catch of the day.
That would have been a dagger right there. And Tyler Lockett just runs a little post and go. He gets Marcus Cromartie completely turned around. I think it surprised Russell Wilson that he came open. He just tried to flick it down the field for a big play.
Bruce Ellington back to receive the punt of John Ryan. 7:41 to go here in the 4th quarter. Seattle has led from the opening bell. Jumping around, here comes the flag and the whistle. No kick, no play.
False start offense, number 57, 5-yard penalty. It's 4th down.
So that penalty on Mike Morgan and the Seattle Special Teams Unit, 8th accepted penalty on the Seattle team. The 49ers actually came in with the fewest penalty yards of any team in the league coming into this weekend. So take 2 for Ryan. Fair catch, Ellington, just across the 10-yard line. 49ers running out of time. Seattle's defense get another look at Blaine Gabbert on the 49ers. It's only one game, but the Seahawks and their fans are feeling a bit more comfortable. Pass is juggled. That's Torrey Smith, and let's see if he held on to it. It is a catch, and it is a 1st down.
And there's Torrey Smith finally getting into the action. Richard Sherman on the coverage there, and really, ball was a little outside. He did a great job tipping that back to himself on that back shoulder throw.
That's his 1st catch in 2 games this year against Seattle. A gain of 16 and up to the 28. Pressure coming, quick pass, had to get rid of it behind Bolden. Wanted to mention, Ronnie, this defense in the 4th quarter and the 5 losses this year, they had the lead in each of those, did the Seahawks. And this week, Earl Thomas was asked, is this a team as hungry as the last 2 years? And he said, I don't know. To have everybody take a lie detector test. This defense now in a position without a huddle from Gabbert to make a play. Gabbert's going to run and get out of bounds.
Well, regardless of if they're hungry or not, they are talented. And the numbers speak to that. The play speaks to that. Again, they've done some uncharacteristic things on defense, giving up plays that they don't necessarily get, that I've never seen them give up, and it's hurt them this year. And this is where it matters most. Being outscored in the fourth quarter of all those 5 losses is why they're sitting right now at 4-5, trying to chase their way back into the playoff hunt.
On 3rd and 3, pressure coming. Gabbert is down. And Cliff Avril with a sack.
Cliff Avril, top of your screen, working against Eric Pierce. And just the speed, he's lower, he's quicker, he's faster, all those things. And again, like earlier in the game when he went around Eric Pierce, made it look real easy. And that was a huge get off on 3rd down.
And unlike the earlier opportunities when the 49ers settled for 3, now the Seattle defense closing in on this 49er offense. And Gabbert forced to punt. Tyler Lockett waves everybody away. And the 49ers are down at the 32-yard line. So we talked about the Seahawks being in the thick of things, and maybe the division a little bit up there with Arizona at 7-2 playing Cincinnati tonight. But the way things fell today, a Seahawk win would put them at 5-5. Tampa Bay in the hunt. You see the Falcons lost. Rams, Eagles at 4-6. Also the Saints and the Bears are at 4-6 in that NFC scramble with 6 games to go after this weekend.
If there was a year, if you're a Seahawks fan, that you needed them to struggle a little bit, this is it. There's no reason they can't be better than all those teams remaining. I think they have the most talent of all those teams in that 4-6, 5-5, 6-3 range.
And the experience of winning streaks when it matters. A big hole for Rawls. Already over 207 combined yards from scrimmage. He's the 15th Seahawk to do that. It's never been done by Marshawn Lynch, by the way.
Gigantic holes being created up here by this offensive line. You see the down block by the tight end. There's just so much room. He doesn't have a lot of experience winning championships, but he adds great depth to this running back field. It has Marshawn Lynch, who's hurt. That has Fred Jackson. Again, I can't imagine him not getting more touches because of his performance today.
172 yards rushing, surpassing his career and season best. Doug Baldwin working his way upfield. Crafty after he catches the football.
Just a really good job by Russell Wilson here. These are all run plays. These are all meant to be handed off to Rawls, but he sees the count outside, knows that he has the numbers right, and he just throws it out there, and Doug Baldwin picks up 5, 6, or 7 yards, and that's Doug Baldwin on the ground there. Looks like he's holding the back of his leg. I'm not sure what happened when he got tackled on that play.
Already thin at receiver. Richardson inactive with a hamstring. Chris Matthews, remember from the Super Bowl, was released this week. Thursday, a Thanksgiving Day tradition that only Fox can bring you. The Eagles and Lions. It all begins. Fox NFL kickoff, 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific. That's 12:30 Eastern time. And Doug Baldwin being tended to.
This is a good angle to and look at his left knee and ankle as he goes to the ground. Just not sure who that body was, that big body that fell on that ankle. But you can tell right away he knew something's wrong. Maybe he's sprained again. Don't speculate, but you know he's getting treatment over there, and hopefully he's all right to come back.
Meanwhile, it's been the Thomas Rawls show for the Seahawks. Why not give it to him? Russell Wilson has thrown for 3 touchdowns, one of those going to Rawls, who has also run for a touchdown, averaging 7 yards a carry against this 49er defense, now facing a 3rd down and 1. Now it looks like Justin Britt is the injured Seahawk. We already saw Patrick Lewis leave the game, the center for Seattle. Glenn Dorsey was hurt in the opening quarter for San Francisco.
Lost center or left guard, and maybe Baldwin here for a little bit. And then Alvin Bailey, who's swing player on this offensive line, can play all. He's listed as backup to all 4 positions.
Let's check in down on the field with Jennifer.
Well, Chris, it is doubtful that the Seahawks will see starting center Patrick Lewis back. It's a left ankle for him. Meanwhile, I'm standing right behind Doug Baldwin. His shoe is off of his right foot. Athletic trainers have been looking at his right ankle. He's attempting to put weight on it and stretch it out. He's hoping to be able to come back in, but with the score like this, doubtful the Seahawks would risk further injury.
All right, thank you. And Jermaine Kearse, Tyler Lockett, and Kevin Smith from the practice squad, who is active for today. Former Washington Husky and free agent, wearing number 17, is those are the only other available receivers. Britt being checked. Of course, the way Thomas Rawls is running, I don't know that you need to put the ball in the air.
What else do you need to do, right?
Met hard this time. One of the better tackles on Rawls as Navarro Bowman clamped down on him.
Well, that was a simple little play there, but how important was that tackle by Navarro Bowman? 3:30 left in this game, and it's not quite over. San Francisco's offense will have to go down and score 2 touchdowns and get 2 extra points, but to get off on 3rd down, 3rd and short there was big for this Niners defense.
And that was a timeout used by the 49ers, so they're obviously in 4-down hurry-up mode here, needing the 2 touchdowns and the 2 two-point conversions. Just over 3.5 to play. And coming off their bye week, 2 teams that are used to tangling for the top of the NFC West, and now looking up at the Cardinals, who have that 7-2 record and playing the Bengals tonight.
You know, both of these teams for years, last 5 or 6 years, as I remember, were the bullies of the NFC. You know, whichever one of them beat each other up most was the one that was going to be represented deep into the playoffs. And so far this year, you mentioned it, Arizona has played great on the arm of Carson Palmer. All you guys saw that last week, what he's capable of doing. But Seattle with this win, if they do end up winning the way they played, you got to figure they might get back to those bullying ways a little bit.
Well, they get on a roll. They've shown the last few years they're capable of that, of winning streaks to get into the postseason. Ellington, fair catch called for. Russell Wilson said coming in, we can't rely on the pass, but we have to count on the same kind of preparation. Well, he prepared and he executed today, running, throwing, 24 out of 29. No turnovers, 3 touchdown passes.
You know what he also told us is that we have to run the ball better. I know they're top 4 or 5 in the league, whatever it was, in rushing offense, but a lot of that was because of the scrambles of Russell Wilson. The offensive line wasn't creating lanes for Marshawn Lynch, whoever was running the football. Today, we saw it. Not
bad for a celebrity quarterback, as Blaine Gabbert is being chased and has to get rid of it. Richard Sherman, too, talked about where this team is and said, of course we can get it done. We have the same group of guys, basically, the same core guys.
And you know what? I think they've done a good job this week, especially staying on their theme. And they told us, we want to stay the course. You don't have to change anything. Their formula works. They've been in the Super Bowl twice. They got talent galore. Just keep doing what you're doing. It'll change. They're looking for whatever it was, and it's shown up a little bit today.
Gabbert on the move again. And gets out of bounds.
Well, this Seahawks defense right now smells blood in the water. Every time, you know it's going to be dropped back every single snap, pinning their ears back and just dominating this San Francisco defense or offensive line. And Eric Pierce just he had a miserable game last time these guys played. He's getting beat on the edge every single time right now.
On 3rd and 8. Drops, but it could have been an interception. In perfect position for the pick was Marcus Burley, the backup corner.
Blaine Gabbert's looking at Anquan Boldin, and man, it can't hit you in any better place. You know, a lot of times us great athletes play DB because we can't catch the ball. Maybe that's why he's playing
us
DB.
Great athlete. You mean you great athlete?
You know, I dropped my fair share of interceptions.
You had your fair share of picks and sacks, and an Ironman player, which people respect around the NFL, as the punt booted out of there, bounces in front of Lockett, then he takes it and thrown down back around the 41. Quentin Patton got there in a hurry. Blaine Gabbert feeling the frustration Thanksgiving weekend. Some of the best rivalries in college football. At the game of the week Saturday with 4th-ranked Notre Dame and 11th-ranked Stanford. A must-win game for both in their playoff chances. You get the Apple Cup with the Cougars and Washington, and then Oregon State, the Ducks from Eugene on FS1. Rhonda, you came here as a player before, but you've never come up in the booth. This is your first time calling a game from the booth.
It's different.
And you notice how loud the effect is. I know Jim Tomsula said the noise doesn't reach out and touch you, but sometimes it feels that way. As Rawls gets loose, just keeps piling up the yards.
San Francisco continues to play this two-gap scheme up front. And we got another injury here. This is J.R. Sweezy's third offensive lineman in successive series to go down. But the run is right through the middle of this defense, right through here, and just, again, watch the D tackles trying to two-gap. They get the double team, and look at Russell Okung come back off that double team and pick up Gerald Hodges there to give Thomas Rawls some running room. But unless you chop up the front against a run that's doing this, and by chopping it up, I mean stunting with the defensive linemen, creating some, not clean run lanes, you don't have a chance. And they haven't adjusted to that all day, and Thomas Rawls is the beneficiary of it.
Yeah, he's got almost 200 yards rushing alone. He's at 197 a total, including receiving over 240 yards. Looks like Justin Britt is coming back in as they work with Sweezy on the line. This offensive line that's done a good job but been physically beat up today.
I was going to say, I mean, Taba Rubin might have to come over off the defensive line and play guard over here. There's no bodies.
There is Lewis, the injured center. There's Tom Cable.
Yeah, this offense likes to convert D linemen to offensive linemen anyways. Just pick one. See if Tom Cable can convert him in game.
Yeah, Mark Lewinsky, the rookie from West Virginia, 4th-round draft choice. Looks like he's going in. It's kind of a philosophy Cable uses. Last Seahawk to rush for more than 200 yards was Sean Alexander back in 2006. Right now, the undrafted free agent Thomas Rawls has 197 yards on the ground on 27 carries. And not done yet, 2.5 remaining. Only 5'9".
Go, Beanie!
Fights hard. Ian Williams making the.
You mentioned this stadium. It's clearing out a little bit here. This game feels like it's in hand, but I got to tell you, there's so much energy in here. When I was a player, it was tough to come in here and play, and up in the booth, it's tough to call a game. It's just so much noise, and you get excited about every little thing. It's a great place to do a game.
Adds to the atmosphere, regardless of the standings or the opponent, the crowd, and the noise. And speaking of opponents, let's take a look at who's next for the Seahawks. A home game with the Steelers, then at Minnesota. You'll see that on Fox. Baltimore, and then home with Cleveland. 49ers get Arizona, the leaders of the NFC West, and then on the road at Chicago and Cleveland before a home game with the Bengals. Carolina stayed undefeated today. The Patriots hope to stay that way on Monday night. The Rams lost in the NFC West. Seattle hoping to nail down its second division win. If they hang on here, they go to 2-2 in the division and get to 5-5 for the year. Hard is Thomas Rawls. Quentin Dial makes the stop, and a timeout San Francisco. That should be their final timeout. We'll still have the 2-minute warning coming up. And then Seattle, if they maintain possession, can just run out the clock. 29 carries for Rawls, sitting on 199 yards. And Gabbert Is he the quarterback? Well, we know he's the quarterback of now for the 49ers. They had to call up Dylan Thompson from the practice squad with Kaepernick injured and out for the year. Is he their quarterback of the future?
Well, the numbers look good in the 2 weeks that we've seen him play, but I think this audition needs to continue. Got 6 games after this to figure out if he can be the guy. He has the look about him, right? You meet with him, he says the right things. You watch him play, he does the right things. He's got a strong arm. We know he's athletic. And he's got a chance to prove himself with this coaching staff. We'll see how he does the rest of the year.
There goes Rawls. Over 200 rushing yards today. And a first down, Seahawks. We've reached the 2-minute warning. Seattle has rushed its way out in front. What a performance from Thomas Rawls, and the Seahawks set him up replacing the injured Marshawn Lynch today. Over 200 rushing yards, and now it's closeout time. And you know, when you talk about repeating or getting back to Super Bowls, the general manager, John Schneider, deserves a lot of credit, Ronde, coming in here with Pete Carroll, building a consistent winner and finding guys like Rawls, the undrafted free agent, drafting guys like Tyler Lockett, and then keeping some of the core guys, Wagner, Sherman, Russell Wilson, that you need to.
It's a tough deal in the NFL now to keep a team together, a good team together, because eventually the law of averages come out against you. You're going to have to pay your good players. Free agency steals them away a lot of the time. So you have to be able to find guys. And Thomas Rawls is a perfect example of John Schneider and his crew, the guys that make the decisions, finding a diamond in the rough, so to speak. Because if you went into this season and you said Marshawn Lynch is going to be hurt for 3 games, out for at least 4 games, parts of 4 games, and you said Thomas Rawls, an undrafted free agent from Central Michigan, is going to give you the type of performances that you had, they would look at you like you're crazy. That's exactly what we've got.
Just 1 game, but 1 division opponent, and Seattle has shown the last 3 years that Pete Carroll's team can go on winning streaks, get into the postseason, and then it's open season. 49ers and Seahawks, the last 5 NFC West titles have been decided by these 2 teams. Arizona making an argument for that case now, but Seattle just wants to get back in to the tournament, and 6 games to do it. And this performance today says the old Seahawks are back. Today's game, a Mike Burks production, directed by Michael Frank. Tom Lynch, our technical producer. Technical director, Ernest Bauer. Graphics operator, Lisa Hanson. Terrific cameramen to bring you the pictures. Bill Anderson, Buzz Schwing, Eric Norberg, John Safinski, Rick Odioso, James Petralka helping us up on the booth. And Ronde Barber and I will have more from Seattle. There's Rich Gonzalez, part of the PR staff, with Dave Pearson and Lane Gamble. We'll have more from Seattle. The Seahawks with a 29-13 win.